Hello, it is Megan Becky. Thank you for stopping by. Today I am starting a new Unstuff Your Kindle vlog. If you don't know what Unstuff Your Kindle is, it is a vlog challenge that I open up to anybody who wants to participate. It's where every other month, with the help of April at Happily Ever April, Monika at Pardon This Book Addict, and Crystal at Books Forever After, we come up with a theme idea of books that we have a lot of on our Kindle, and then the following month we read as many books as we can that match the theme to get them off our Kindle. So it's just a way to encourage people to read some of the books that they might be putting on the back burner that are way back in their Kindle history that you might not look at otherwise. So this month's theme was Manchester Madness, which was April's idea, and Crystal came up with the title. So I'm going to be reading some books that have naked man chests on the cover. So I have already started reading my first book for this, which is Set Gods of the Duat by Alyssa Thorne. So I bought this ebook because I had every intention of reading it before I went to Egypt last November, and I just never got around to it. But I am about, I want to say 30% into this, and this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was either going to be a fantasy romance or a paranormal romance, and I guess it is kind of paranormal, but it's more a paranormal contemporary romance. And it's kind of got mafia vibes to it. So we're following Set, who is one of the ancient Egyptian gods. He is the god of warfare and chaos. And he is actually working for this mob boss who lives in Cairo. And this man tells him that a rival gang has discovered that he has a daughter that nobody knew about. And so he sends Set to find his daughter and protect her. She is a like Doctors Without Border type of doctor. So he finds her, he rescues her, and they are trying to make their way back to Cairo without her getting killed. And in the midst, he is finding that he is really drawn to her, and he is using his godly magic for the first time in a really long time to protect her. So I'm enjoying this because one, it's set in Egypt, and a lot of the places that it's talked about I actually been to. I'm so happy to say that. I love that. They get on a felucca boat in Aswan and they're floating up the Nile River, and I did that. Also really like the whole like Egyptian mafia vibes that this has going on. He definitely is a kill without question kind of guy. I don't see any problem with me finishing this book. So I will give you my final thoughts once I've finished. I got my little fairy garden all set up with some solar powered lights going down the river. Little door goes into. How cute is it? I love it. We got this solar powered hedgehog from the Dollar Tree. We got these solar powered mushrooms from Walmart. We got this solar powered, I don't know, ball from Walmart. My mom made me this little solar powered thing right here. Or maybe she bought it, I don't know. But anyway, we got the Adirondack chairs from Marshall's. This little guy is from the dollar store. This guy is from Walmart. This little rock is from the dollar store. And I got my little fairy setup right here that I think my sister bought me all these individual pieces, and I just put it on a piece of like fake grass that we had. It's got some mushrooms, got a little turtle. This is supposed to be a pond. A little bench bridge and a little fairy girl. Over here we have a little house that we got at Marshall's, and then over here is a little mushroom house too that we got at the dollar store. Then we got some mint growing in here for some greenery. I think it is super cute. I'm gonna give this 5 stars. And I might be biased because I just love Egyptian mythology, but I loved the Egyptian setting in this. I loved seeing so many places mentioned that I had actually visited. It was so freaking cool. And I probably would have appreciated this a lot better had I actually read it before I went to Egypt like I was supposed to. But I guess I just needed a reason to reminisce on my Egypt trip. I really liked seeing this perception of Set, because Set has always been known as the god of chaos. He's always the bad guy in a lot of stories. So to see him get a softer light put on him, to see him get a romance, was really, really cool. At one point he has to travel through Duat into the Field of Reeds to confront Osiris. And I thought that was really, really interesting, because not too long ago I read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and so I got to learn about the different doors, or the different doors that people had to travel through Duat to eventually make it to Osiris. So that was really, really cool for me to read. I liked Set's character. He was very much touch her and die. He showed no mercy with his killings, and he accomplished it really quick because he does have that god ability. And when people didn't know that he was a god, it was very satisfying for him to come in and just like slice them in half. This is what I would call light mafia. It does involve the Egyptian mafia, but Set himself is pretty much just a hired assassin for the mafia boss to protect his daughter. So while there is like assassinations, there are some mentions of like human trafficking, things like that. It's not super, super dark mafia. I liked Isla's character. I think that's how you say it. It's Ayla. She was a very smart character. She was a doctor, like I mentioned. So she was always curious about that. But she never took like stupid risks when Set told her don't leave the boundary of this village. She never did. There were some things that she did that I was like, oh girl, that's gonna come back to bite you. But she didn't knowingly make stupid choices, you know? This does have, I wouldn't say captive, because he doesn't capture her as much as he rescues her. But they are put into forced proximity with one another. She really reinvigorates his god Ka and his godly powers, and he starts to fall in love with her. And it's been so long since he has loved somebody that it's giving him a newfound look on life. This could have been much longer, and I would have loved it still. I do plan on continuing the series because there is like an overarching plot where Set has to go on a mission to do something, and he only has, I think, a year to do it. Pretty sure it's a year to do it. So I can't wait to see that. And the ending of this book I really enjoyed because it sets up a future character. This book ends at Saqqara, at the Step Pyramid where I was, and I was like, holy shit, I've been there. It might just be that I'm biased and I love Egyptian mythology and I love seeing the Egyptian setting, but 5 stars. I really enjoyed this story. And I think if you're somebody who likes Egyptian mythology, you would enjoy this too. This does have about 3 chili peppers worth of smut. It's not very like graphic erotica type smut, you know, things are mentioned, but it's like in very brief sections. Like there's no explicit language used or anything like that. But I really, really enjoyed this. So I am now going to start my next book, and that is going to be Bound by the Dragon by Vela Stone. I'm picking this one because it's a short one. It's under 200 pages. I don't know anything about this other than I'm assuming a woman is bound to a dragon.
So unfortunately, I had to DNF Bound by the Dragon. I still can't freaking remember the title of it. This just felt a little too insta-love for me. Like, she hadn't even met the guy. She was only hearing his voice and she was already horny for him. And he was calling her, like, my love, like, upon meeting her and all this jazz. And so instead, I am now about 10% into The Assistant for the Orc Prince, I think. It's this book right here. So I just started it, so I can't really tell. I think I DNF'd the last book at like 15%. So We'll see how far along I get in this one. I am doing reading sprints with April tonight. She is hosting Manchester May reading sprints, so hopefully I can make some progress in this book. I couldn't even tell how long it was because in the ebook it doesn't tell me. It doesn't give me a page, it just gives me a location, which is stupid. So it could be 90 pages, it could be 290 pages. Can't imagine it would be longer than that, but I have no idea. So I'll give you my thoughts probably when I finish it, let's be real.
I have a flamingo one, which I thought was fun.
Like a man flamingo?
Yeah, he's a flamingo. Where's it at?
April, you find the weirdest shit.
The flamingo's fated mate.
For fuck's sake.
Wait.
Is he red? Is he pink?
No, it's actually a quite normal looking cover, but there's like a flamingo behind him, which I think is a lot.
No, I want to see a cover with with a guy who's pink balancing on one leg.
Exactly. It's a lost opportunity. So he's just like, see the
if you're gonna go with something that ridiculous, give me a ridiculous cover too.
Oh my god. No, the tagline is, to win his mate, he'll have to put his foot down.
Oh my god. Okay, so can you
read it, April, and then you should crochet a flamingo.
I have a flamingo pattern. I'm totally gonna do it.
Yes.
Oh my god. Where do you find these things? On Amazon.
Honestly, all of these are from like Stuff Your Kindle days, and if the cover's pretty or it makes me laugh, I download it. Like that's my bar.
Oh Jesus.
Half the time I don't even know what these books are. I just like, that looks cool. Okay, download.
So I finished reading The Assistant to the Orc Prince, and I'm gonna give this like 3 stars. It was fine. It was really short though. It ended up being like 96 pages when I looked to see how many pages there were on it. So it was very like insta-love, which is the problem I had with the last book that I DNF'd. But that book was like 150 pages. So this is the story of a girl who works in like PR for the mayor of New York, and they live in this paranormal world where like a portal had opened to like this different realm with like orcs and fae and trolls and stuff like that. So they want to get the mayor reelected, so they need to have somebody from this other realm come and like do like a PR campaign and like show that relations between the humans and these other creatures are good, things like that. So this girl gets forced into being the like public relations person for this orc prince, and nobody thinks she's gonna be able to do it because she hasn't really shown that she's like really great at her job. Like she is good, but she just doesn't stand up for herself, and so people just walk all over her. So she gets forced into doing this. She meets this orc prince. They get put into forced proximity with one another and have to stay at like the same hotel so she can like prep him for interviews and things like that. And it's just the story of her trying to convince him to partake in human traditions and human things that would make him more appealing to humans. And in the process, she's attracted to him and they end up falling in love. So I liked the forced proximity of this. I liked that this had like a lesson in it about not judging people until you get to know them. And I liked that the female main character actually learned to stand up for herself by the end of the story. But overall, it was really, really short, so it was very insta-love. They pretty much knew each other for like a week. And he was already professing his love for her. And I didn't love seeing her like try and force human ways on him. I think she learned a lesson just to let him be himself by the end of it, but it wasn't anything like super standout-ish. Glad I got it for free. Definitely wouldn't have paid for this, but it was fine. So now I have started reading not the Spider King, it's just called Spider King. This is about a group of college women who are about to graduate college, and they go like camping one night as just like a final hurrah before they graduate. And this one girl ends up finding like this key, and she follows these clues because this box has a bunch of clues on it. So she ends up following these clues to this tree that has a door in it, and she ends up unlocking this and going in. And there she finds herself in the, it's not called, is it called the Arachne Court? Arachne Realm? I don't know. It's the spider realm. And this girl is terrified of spiders. But the Spider King, he knows that in order to get his people like back to their prosperity, he has to mate with a human, because of course he does. And so he's trying to convince her to, you know, have sex with him pretty much. But she's very resistant to this, and she's like, you're gonna have to like really convince me, because I'm terrified of your people, and you're Spider-Man and I'm a human, and this shouldn't even be possible or whatnot. He is able to be like a full human looking person because he's very powerful, but a lot of his people, they're either like have spider legs with a human body, or they're more spider-esque. So I'm not too far into this, but I am intrigued by it. I am interested to see where it goes, because it wasn't like insta-lust. He is having to like talk to her and explain things to her and like treat her kindly in order to get her to want to be with him. I will say one thing I didn't like is she is very, very rude. Like, she slaps this poor man just for saying that the way to get his people to be prosperous is if they mate, and she like slaps him. I'm like, girl, you a little violent. But you know, so far it's cute, so I'm sure it'll end up being like a 3-star, if not something higher. But this will probably be the last book I read for this vlog. But today, my sister and I are going to Barnes & Noble. They're doing like this free Lego build event thing, where they give you like a free Lego kit. It's supposed to look like a flower with a bumblebee or something like that. I don't know. It's probably meant for kids, but they didn't have like any age restrictions on it, and I'm always up for like finding free shit to do that gets me out of the house. So we're gonna go do that, because this might be a shocker, but I've never done anything with Legos. I've never put together a Lego kit in my life. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not expecting much because it's free, so the thing is probably going to be this big, and it's probably going to be 12 pieces. But you know, it's free, it gets us out of the house. I think we also have to go to the post office today, and we have to go buy groceries. Yay! One of my least favorite things to do is spend money on food, but hopefully I can get some footage of that for you.
Making progress.
There's the finished product.
Thanks, Beth. Had a great time.
Thanks, Barnes & Noble, for the free Lego event.
And an afternoon of quality sister time.
Yeah. Not bad for my first attempt at Lego. It wasn't that hard. Show them how it works, sorry. Ooh, look at that bee. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I finished reading Spider King, and I really enjoyed this story. Within this world of ataraxia, I think it is, there is like a scorpion realm, a snake realm, and a spider realm. And so each of those have their own rulers and how they have intermingled to either form alliances or not. I really enjoyed seeing how the different spiders within the spider realm functioned and what they were good at. Some of them were weavers, some of them were warriors, some of them were maids. And I really liked that our female main character, Lida, she didn't just go with it as most monster romance heroines do. She is afraid of the world that she lives in because she's terrified of spiders. So it takes her a while to get to know these creatures and to really build a foundation of trust for her to finally come to terms with the world that she is in. She also isn't immediately attracted to our male main character. She thinks he's attractive in his human form, but she knows that he has the ability to like grow spider legs out of his back and transform his body, and that freaks her out. So it takes him a while to like slowly introduce aspects of himself to her that she can then not be afraid of. She is a college student, but I felt like she felt more mature than a college student would. Theron is such a golden retriever male main character. He is king of this land, and he is very protective of her. He isn't afraid to like kill people when he has to, but he's much more of an intellectual sort. He wants to learn the politics that went into what made his kingdom the way it is, and the lore and the legends that will bring his people back to prosperity. And while he isn't a virgin, when he is with Lida, she sort of has to explain how human mating works, because he's, you know, he has a human body. He can transform it into a human body, so he has human anatomy, but he's never had sex with a human before, so he isn't sure if it's the same way that he would with, say, other members of his species or other species. So I thought that was a really sweet element to add, that she had to sort of instruct him and enlighten him into the ways of mating with a human. This does have about 4 chili peppers worth of smut, and there is some web usage within the smut. They have this mating web that is actually an aphrodisiac, so it really heightens her arousal when he ties her to it. I did have some questions with this world as far as like how it came to be the way it was and how he thinks it works as in conjunction to the human world, because there's an epilogue in this that sort of sets up a future book that sort of contradicts what he thought happened with the human realm and his realm. So I'm very curious to see where that leads. I do plan on continuing this series because I really liked the characters, I liked the setup, I liked this dynamic, and I gave this 4.5 stars. So if you're into some maybe monster romance a little bit, if you're into spider romances, definitely check this one out. But that is going to be the end of this Unstuff Your Kindle vlog for me. I think it was pretty successful. All of the books I read were 3 stars or more, and I had 2 really highly rated books within this series. I would definitely recommend paying money or doing Kindle Unlimited for Spider King and Set. As far as the other one, the Orc's Assistant, or the Assistant to the Orc Prince, or whatever it was called, not really. If it sounds interesting and you can get it free, sure, but otherwise it was just okay. But let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you will be adding any of these books to your TBR. But if you don't want to comment that but would like to let me know that you made it to the end of this video, could you leave me a spider emoji, please? And with that, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, go out there and read a book with a naked man chest on the cover. Bye!